Again, I want to say to God be the glory, and appreciate again another opportunity to be an ambassador for Christ. I think I want to first of all say it's good that we are undefeated so far here in the conference. Another great thing here is we're playing at home against a Monmouth team that I think has really improved. I also want to say it's great to be playing at home and as far as in front of our crowd, which is the best in the FCS as far as I'm concerned. Also showed great determination by our football team in the last ball game there. They did a great job of really, I think, from the standpoint of the weather. They did not let that interfere with their preparation. They came out ready to go the first snap all the way to the last snap there. So that was really, really good to see our guys respond under different circumstances and see that they had great focus. Positive also, we won the third time this year on the road. That's a good thing that our program is continuing to get better, playing good football, whether we're at home or whether we're away. Monmouth, Coach Kevin Callahan is very highly respected as coaches across the country. I know he's a bright person, good football coach, discipline his players in a good way, and they obviously here their first football season here in the Big South Conference, and they've started out real well. They have a little bit of struggle here in the last two ball games, but that's not a true indication of who they are and what they're all about, and we know that they're going to be a very much improved football team. They're still 5-3. Defense, they're a four-man front. We played them last year, so we got an idea of what they do and how they do. They haven't done a whole lot of things differently, but again, they've may make some adjustments as they play us this ball game. Offensively, they're a good balanced offense. They kind of maybe, I think of them as similar to us. They want to run the football. They want to be a balanced attack. They want to run and throw. They're probably throwing the ball better than they last year. If I had to say one area where they're a little bit better than last year is they're throwing the ball a lot better as far as to the receivers, to their backs and tight ends and all that. And now they got a good running back. They got two good running backs. One's a little bit more bigger, one's smaller, more quicker and faster in their offensive game plan. As far as the injured, O'Grady's out, upper body. Macon's out, lower body. Shales is questionable, lower body. And Wesley Scott is questionable, upper body. And Josh Smith is out, as we're well aware, for the whole season, a lower body. I think the keys to this game is we got to start fast. We got to come out and play well defensively. We got to play well offensively, and more importantly, play well in our special teams to continue to get those things better. We win the turnover margin. Again, I think that's a huge thing, and I know we say it every week, but it is always true. You have to win the turnover margin and give yourself the best chance to win. We must tackle well on defense. We got to improve for a few things in our special teams there with the return game and also with the field goal situation. And then we got to score touchdowns in the red zone from an offensive perspective. Let's open it up to questions.
Coach Callahan mentioned this morning that over the last two games where they've only scored 12 points, they've struggled to run the football. Despite their passing attack, is that a point of emphasis for you guys to shut them down and kind of make them one-dimensional? Shut down and run.
No matter where the team's a running team or a passing team, that's kind of always our first MO is stop the run, because that's huge for us, and I think we have great success when we've done that. So they still going to try to do what they need to do, run the ball. They're going to throw the ball too. We want to put them in that one-dimensional game if it has to be.
How much of an advantage was it to see these guys last year and have an idea? Nobody else in the conference that has played had that opportunity last season.
Oh, it can work for you, can work it against you. We have some ideas. Could be advantageous for them as they've already played here in our stadium. They played against us. They know what they need to do and how they need to do it. And obviously we know what we need to do, and we got to match that. And we got to make sure that we continue to play well, continue to be on top of our football game there. So I think it can work either way, so it can be advantageous for them just as well as for us.
Coach, what pleased you the most from the Presbyterian game? Maybe one part of the Flames game that really stood out last Saturday?
I think the first drive for both sides of the ball. Our offense, they took the ball and scored. Our defense, they had a turnover in the first series. That was probably the greatest accomplishment. Again, I think because of the circumstances of the weather, didn't know how our guys going to respond, how they're going to be focused, but it was good even during the warm-ups. They didn't bother them. They came out there and got their regular warm-ups in and jogged out there, and half of it was snow and half of it wasn't snow. And so it was a great feeling, but you never know until they kick it off. So I think those two things there really stood out as those first series where we scored offensively and defensively we had a turnover.
Just to kind of piggyback off that, I think your last 3 games you've scored on your first possession on offense. What's been the key to getting off to those hot starts?
I think I give the coaching staff a great game plan, because usually the first drive is really about your preparation and how you're looking at a football team and looking at what they're doing defensively in this case, and putting together your first 5 to 10 plays, what kind of plays you're going to call and run and anticipate them to be successful. So that's all about preparation. Again, still the players got to go execute it, no question about that. You can draw up all good plays, and your kids got to execute it. But I think we put together some good plays where our players felt very comfortable to execute it. So I got to give a lot of credit to Coach Stam and the whole offensive side of the ball.
On the defensive side, the adjustments you guys were able to make in the bye week, I mean, you've only allowed 7 points in 2 Big South games. And what's really changed since that App State game?
Well, we just made some adjustments on the back end. Again, I'm not going to get into specifics of it, but on the back end, I'm saying the secondary, we made a few little adjustments to get our guys to play faster. We talked about that, and they responded. So, again, great job by our defensive staff and all of us getting together and talking about what needs to happen to have better success on the defensive side of the ball. And we just hope that we can continue that here as we move forward.
How much of the 2 seniors on your offensive line, Greg Ray and Mitch Hansen, how much have they just kind of stabilized everything on the interior part of that line for you guys?
I think they've stabilized, number one, probably just staying healthy. And then you get into the leadership of they didn't been through all the different things, and it's such advantageous with Greg Ray when I first got here was a guard. We moved him to center. Mitch Hansen, we played him at tackle, and then we moved him to guard. And so it's a great thing to have on our football team that we could put off both of those guys at all 5 positions technically if we really had to do that. And that's very comfortable. And we kind of talked to our O-line as far as Coach Wagner talks to all of them. Everybody needs to try to play all positions because you just never know on the offensive line. And so fortunate this year we've been fairly blessed that we haven't had a whole lot of injuries. And we feel good that we got about 7 guys that we feel good about playing. And it's held up to that standard. And, again, they've been great leaders. Greg Ray is coming on strong and doing a lot of great things at center, and proud of what he's doing. And then he's encouraging the other guys. And they feel comfortable because they know they played a lot of football. So when they get different guards in there, the communication has been very good.
Coach, we talk a lot about the quarterback position throughout the season, but could you be much more pleased with Josh Woodrum's play this year for you guys?
Well, I'm very pleased with him. We kind of had one game or two that wasn't quite up to par, and maybe there's always maybe 1 or 2 throws that I'm not happy with, and we discussed that and all those kind of things. Obviously, I want him to be perfect. I know no one can be perfect, but we're going to strive for excellence. And so I think overall he's done extremely well. I think the other thing is probably behind the scenes has probably been just as more important than what you've actually seen on Saturdays, as taking a great leadership role as far as with all the guys, O-line to the running backs, to tight ends and receivers, of days that they need to do some extra work. He's taken amongst himself and making sure they get out there and do what they need to do to get better as a football team to help us be successful. So his leadership has definitely increased in a good way for our football team, and not just the physical part of it, but also the mental part of behind the scenes in the locker room, in the weight room, talking to our guys of what to do and how to do it.
So the 4 interceptions from the safeties last week. How much do you feel like Jacob Hagan kind of rubs off on those younger guys and has kind of helped them along as the season's progressed?
Well, Hagan's that quiet leader. Again, he behind the scenes, he probably speaks more than he does out in the public and to some of you guys here. But, I mean, he does a great job of football. IQ is outstanding. And when you talk football to him now, he'll talk. He'll talk a lot more often when you get into the X's and O's side of things of that nature. And so he's done a great job of teaching, coaching all these guys up, and then watching the videotape, telling those guys what to look for, how to look for it. Obviously, our coaches do that too, but when it increases a lot more when your players are also telling your guys what to look for on the tape. And so it's great to see all of our safeties playing well, and they got to continue to do that.
It's kind of a two-part question, I guess. Did Dante practice on Sunday? And then if he's unable to go for some reason on Saturday, would it be McCarter or Fritz kind of working into that spot, or Glover?
He did not practice on Sunday. It could be either one of them. I guess we'll kind of go through the practices here the next 2 or 3 days. It could be either one of them as far as that goes. As far as Fritz, could be the guy, could be Glover. But we'll get that all worked out, and hopefully he's able to play here at the end of the week too.
It's your third year. You still haven't lost a game in the month of November. 9-0 since you came here. What's been the key to success late in the season?
I just think that probably number one, the coaches understanding where we're at with our football team at this point in time. Again, there's not any more, yeah, they are freshmen, but they're not freshmen. We got a better understanding of guys who have been inexperienced at the beginning of the year. We know what they can do and what they cannot do. So then it's up to us as coaches to try to put them in a position where they be more successful. Then also I think the players are in great shape. They feel very good about their bodies. They feel very good about what's going on. I think Coach Gillespie does a great job as far as keeping our guys strong in the weight room. If not necessarily gaining strength, they're for sure maintaining their strength as far as they move forward here in that last quarter of the season, last 3 or 4 ball games of the year. And so I think the players understand what we're trying to do. They believe in it. They feel good about it. And they just continue to work hard each and every day.